Two women work at the same company where love is strictly forbidden, but they're already married to each other and nobody knows. Every single day is a war between keeping their secret and being completely obsessed with each other. And honestly, they're losing that war badly.
So this guy from the acoustics department walks up to Fuyuki during work, casually inviting her to a drinking party that night. People from other departments are welcome, he says, flashing a friendly smile. Fuyuki doesn't even blink. She flashes her ring finger, nails done up sharp and black, and shuts it down cold. She doesn't care about that. Her co-workers are already whispering. Turns out Fuyuki is married, and most people had no idea. She's Tuju Fuyuki, team leader of the design team, and despite her flashy appearance, she's apparently incredible at her job. The guy who tried to invite her looks genuinely stunned. He clearly did not see that ring coming. Meanwhile, over in the engineering department, someone calls out to Hara-kun. The office is mostly empty, and Hara is at her desk typing away, completely absorbed in work. A colleague mentions offhand that he didn't know Fuyuki had a husband, and that the guy must be a great catch. Hara just quietly keeps working, saying nothing. Hara's morning is already in full swing when a co-worker from another team rushes in with a bug fix request over email. His badge reads Hara Taiyu, Team Leader Engineer, and he needs a response as soon as possible. Hara takes it in stride, already deep in her tasks, muttering about whether they'll even finish on time. Back in the early morning, we see the office is still mostly deserted. A notepad window is open on Fuyuki's screen with a message scolding someone about being overheard. They could find out the two of them are married. Fuyuki reads it, then immediately gets called into a meeting. She heads out without missing a beat, cool and composed as always. The company has a rule, and it's a big one. Love is forbidden. In this startup, workplace relationships are officially not allowed. Fuyuki sits at her desk processing this reality, remembering how they only found out about the policy years after they'd already joined. So they marched straight into the president's office and told him they were getting married. The president laughs it off like it's the funniest thing he's heard all week. He tells them he knows romance is technically banned, but hey, it happens a lot in startups. What matters is that both Fuyuki and Hara are incredibly talented, and the company doesn't want to lose either of them. So they got special approval, as long as they keep it a secret within the company walls. Fuyuki is deep in work mode now, typing furiously at her keyboard in a half-empty office. A co-worker approaches. It's lunch break, and he's asking if she wants to eat together. She barely looks up, completely locked into whatever she's working on, her expression sharp and focused behind her glasses. Hara-senpai pops up behind Fuyuki's monitor like she materialized out of thin air. She glances at Fuyuki's packed schedule on screen, and her eyes go wide. The calendar is absolutely crammed from 9 in the morning until well past 3. Fuyuki admits she doesn't understand something in the work, and Hara starts walking her through it. Fuyuki is still grinding away at her desk when Hara shows up again. This time, telling her it's already lunch break and she needs to actually rest. She leans in close, practically commanding Fuyuki to stop working. Fuyuki stammers out a response, flustered. A team leader from another department came all the way over just to check on her. Back at the office, Fuyuki is working late and the place has emptied out. Suddenly, she pounces on Hara from behind with a cheerful, "Great work!" that nearly gives the poor woman a heart attack. Hara sputters Fuyuki's name in shock while Fuyuki casually reassures her that everyone's already left, so there's nothing to worry about. Hara is at her desk buried in work, clearly stressed about something she can't quite figure out. Fuyuki notices and comes over, and when Hara apologizes and asks if it's okay to just do something quick for dinner, Fuyuki doesn't hesitate. She tells her it's perfectly fine, to do her best, and she'll handle things. The warmth in her expression behind those glasses is unmistakable. Fuyuki offers to take over the cooking and housework so they can have more time together at night. Hara's co-worker is confused, saying Ta-kun usually handles all the chores, but Fuyuki's real motive is written all over her face. If she does the housework, they'll have more time in the evening, and maybe they could be intimate. The heart she drops at the end of that thought says everything. Fuyuki is staring at something with a soft, almost longing expression on her face. Then she leans into Hara, hugging her from behind, and murmurs that she'll find a delicious restaurant that stays open late. Hara looks confused, asking what's wrong, but Fuyuki is already planning their evening out. They could eat out, sure, but there's something else on Fuyuki's mind. She's clearly been thinking about how they haven't had much time together lately, and it's weighing on her. The look on her face is a mix of determination and vulnerability. She wants to make this work even when their schedules are brutal. Fuyuki went shopping at the supermarket after hours, grabbing groceries and packing them into what appears to be an extremely expensive designer handbag. The cashier asks if she needs a plastic bag, and Fuyuki holds up the designer bag with total confidence. She's got one. The cashier just says the total is 1,858 yen, completely unfazed.
Back at home, laundry day has turned into a minor crisis. Fuyuki accidentally threw her favorite knit dress in the dryer, and it shrank. She loved how short it was, but now she might not be able to wear it anymore. Hara walks in and immediately notices something smells off. The dryer situation is worse than Fuyuki is letting on.
They finally decide to call it a night. Both of them are exhausted, barely able to keep their eyes open as they agree to just go to bed. The door closes, the apartment goes quiet, and then, cut to bright daylight, and both of them bolt upright in panic. They overslept because they were completely wiped out. The alarm hit at 6:30, and the dark-haired Hara reached over to shut it off. Fuyuki is still curled up next to her, barely conscious, letting out a sleepy groan as she rolls over. Hara looks down at her with soft eyes, and for just a moment, the morning rush doesn't exist. It's just the two of them, tangled up in the quiet. Fuyuki leans in close, whispering good morning with the kind of warm, half-awake smile that could end wars. Hara freezes. Fuyuki's practically on top of her, and the blanket situation is getting precarious. Then Fuyuki pulls Hara in tight, declaring that if they stay close, they won't get cold, while Hara sputters that they're going to be late for work. The morning domesticity is strong with these two.
Fuyuki calls Hara in a panic. Something is really bad. Hara rushes over, worried, only to find Fuyuki standing there looking absolutely stunning and declaring that she's so pretty. Hara just stares, completely blindsided, because this is apparently an emergency-level crisis in Fuyuki's world.
Fuyuki changed her perfume, and she wants to know if Hara notices. Hara catches the new scent and asks about it, while internally she's struggling because she can't bring herself to say out loud that Fuyuki looks cute. Fuyuki turns and asks innocently if she doesn't look good, and Hara is fully short-circuiting trying to keep her composure. Hara lets out a tired sigh, but then Fuyuki leans in close and says she likes this look on her. Hara's eye twitches from the sudden proximity, and Fuyuki buries her face against Hara, gushing about how she's glad she woke up early today. Hara has no idea what's happening, but she's not exactly pulling away either. It's a new morning at the office, and Fuyuki arrives looking flawless as always. Designer bag, perfect outfit, phone in hand. A male coworker greets her with a casual good morning, and Fuyuki acknowledges him coolly. The whole office watches her walk in like it's a runway, completely unaware of the chaos that is her home life. A guy at the office leans in during the morning and compliments Fuyuki's perfume, saying it smells great. Fuyuki's reaction is immediate and icy. This perfume was only meant to be smelled by her husband. Meanwhile, a coworker in the background is looking at Hara and Fuyuki's sleeping photo together, muttering about how jealous he is. Hara is texting Fuyuki that she'll head home first and make dinner when she notices something on the stairway nearby. A group of high school girls suddenly shouts that a man just took a photo up their skirts. Hara freezes, phone in hand, as the situation unfolds right in front of her on the stairs. The girls are pointing at a guy walking away, and Fuyuki appears out of nowhere to confront the situation. She asks what they need, her expression sharp and intimidating. The man tries to deny it, but the girls are insistent. They saw him do it. Fuyuki stares him down, and the tension is thick enough to cut. Fuyuki doesn't hesitate. She accuses the man directly, calling him out for being creepy enough to go after high schoolers. The guy sputters that it's a misunderstanding, but Fuyuki is having none of it. She grabs Hara protectively, demanding to know what he needs from her husband, and the girls are shocked. Wait, she's his wife? The man backs off, realizing he's been caught in a lie. Fuyuki confronted him because she saw him take a photo of the girls, and she wasn't about to let that slide. The bystanders piece it together. If that beautiful woman is his wife, there's no way he'd be sneaking photos of strangers. He admits it was his mistake, and bolts. Hara thanks Fuyuki for stepping in, though she's a bit shaken since she nearly got accused of being the voyeur herself. Fuyuki laughs it off and says she thinks she still has something in her closet, then tells Hara to wait in the bedroom. Hara blinks in confusion as Fuyuki disappears with a click of the door lock behind her. Fuyuki emerges wearing her old high school uniform, and the effect is devastating. She asks if it still looks good on her, and the memories come flooding back for both of them. Fuyuki's heart is pounding because she refuses to lose to a younger girl. She's going to prove she's still got it, plaid skirt and all. Back at home, Fuyuki pulls Hara by the arm, telling her to come on. Hara stammers Fuyuki's name in surprise as she gets dragged along, and Fuyuki leans in with a soft smile, saying they can have fun tonight too. Hara's face goes red as she mutters a quiet agreement, completely powerless against this woman. The scene shifts to a weekend outing, and Fuyuki is standing on the street checking her phone, waiting for someone. A text from Hara pops up saying she'll arrive soon with a cute apologetic sticker. Then two stylish friends approach, one in a hoodie, one with a chain necklace, and call out to Fuyuki, asking if she wants to grab tea. But Fuyuki isn't alone for long. The friends spot someone walking toward them and start nudging each other. That girl is really cute, they say, and then immediately comment on her figure. Fuyuki doesn't react to their chatter, just watches Hara approach with her usual understated outfit and messenger bag. Hara comes rushing up, apologizing for being late. Fuyuki's eyes light up the moment she sees her, and the two friends burst out laughing because they can't believe this plain-looking person is who Fuyuki was waiting for. They find the whole pairing hilarious, saying the two don't seem like a match at all. The friends don't hold back. They laugh right in Hara's face, saying she should be ashamed to walk next to someone like Fuyuki. One of them says Hara doesn't seem to care about how men look at all, as if that's some kind of insult. Fuyuki watches the exchange, and her expression slowly hardens. Fuyuki steps in and absolutely destroys them. She tells one friend that just wearing trendy clothes doesn't make someone fashionable, then asks if her head is pretty lame. Both friends are visibly startled, their confident attitudes crumbling instantly under Fuyuki's withering assessment of their actual fashion sense. The roasting continues. Fuyuki points out that Hara uses simple clothes, doesn't dye her hair, and represents actual cleanliness, and that's super cool. The friends are stunned, asking if it was a joke, while Fuyuki clenches her fist with pride. She adds that maybe they just don't care how men look at all, flipping their own insult right back. Fuyuki tells the friends she has no problem with them, but she'd actually be ashamed to walk with people who talk like that. The friends are speechless. Fuyuki then leans into Hara, wrapping herself around her wife's arm, and makes it clear. This woman needs to mind her words, because Fuyuki isn't going to tolerate anyone disrespecting Hara. Then comes the knockout punch. Hara steps forward, slaps the guy friend's hand away with a sharp motion, and tells him not to touch Fuyuki. The friend stammers, "Husband?" Hara looks him dead in the eye and says it plain, she's her husband. The whole group goes silent, and the power couple energy is absolutely off the charts. Fuyuki kisses Hara on the cheek as she's heading out, and Hara freezes in the doorway. Fuyuki pouts. Why only on the cheek? Hara turns away, face burning, and mutters that if she kissed Fuyuki on the mouth, she wouldn't be able to hold back. The door clicks shut behind her, and Fuyuki is left standing there, absolutely victorious. Fuyuki corners Hara the next chance she gets, demanding to know what that was about. They can't flirt at work, she argues, so mornings are the only time they have together. Hara just stares at her speechlessly, while Fuyuki leans in closer, her logic somehow both irrefutable and completely unhinged at the same time. Hara heads out the door first, saying she still has work to finish, but Fuyuki bolts after her in a panic. Wait, Takun, she forgot something important. Hara turns around confused while Fuyuki, still barely dressed, shouts at her to put on proper clothes before leaving. The domesticity is reaching critical levels. Hara pauses, considers the situation, and mumbles a quiet no before admitting, maybe a little. She cracks the faintest smile, and Fuyuki catches it immediately, grinning ear to ear. Hara demands to know what she's grinning about, but Fuyuki just coos that Takun is so easy to read and so cute, completely unbothered. The two of them walk side by side down the street, and Hara breathes a sigh of relief that nobody from work spotted them. Then Fuyuki grabs her arm and shouts that they should get going already. Hara yelps as she gets dragged along, but there's a softness in her eyes that says she wouldn't have it any other way. Disaster strikes in the form of a guy from Hara's department. He's staring right at them. Hara is visibly pissed, and Fuyuki looks concerned too. The guy notices Fuyuki's soaked top from earlier and offers his handkerchief, telling her she should probably cover up since people are looking. Hara hands over her own handkerchief instead, and the tension is thick. Earlier at the aquarium, Fuyuki got absolutely destroyed by a dolphin splash. The water hit her directly, and her entire top is soaked through. Hara rushes over asking if she's okay, but the damage is done. Fuyuki's outfit is completely see-through, and she's standing there dripping in front of the entire crowd. The backstory clicks into place. They ran into a coworker named Tanaka at the aquarium. The guy cheerfully declared there's no way the two of them were dating, and they quickly explained they were both team leaders looking for references for a new project. Then right on cue, a dolphin launched a tidal wave directly at Fuyuki's face. Hara panics internally. They've already been exposed. The coworker starts to ask if the two of them are perhaps something more, and Fuyuki doesn't miss a beat. She whips around with a sharp look and declares they're working, cutting off the question before it can even fully form. Crisis narrowly averted, but barely. The group ends up at the same aquarium event, and it gets worse. More colleagues show up. Hara whispers that they really need to leave, but suddenly spots even more co-workers in the crowd. She blurts out asking why they're all here, while Fuyuki and Hara try desperately to look like they're definitely not on a date together. Fuyuki refuses to let the co-workers ruin their day. When Hara suggests sneaking out, Fuyuki flatly says no. They came here for a date and it would be a loss if they didn't enjoy it. There are tons of people around, so they'll blend in fine, she reasons. Then she spots a dolphin show, and her eyes light up like a kid on Christmas. They bump right into Tanaka again, Hara's colleague, who greets them enthusiastically and throws his arm around Hara. He reminds them that love is forbidden at their company, and if people see them together, they'll figure things out. Hara realizes he's from her own department, and the whole situation is spiraling fast. Fuyuki pulls out her phone and drags Hara in for a selfie in front of the aquarium tanks. But then she checks the screen and something catches her eye. "This is really bad," she says, spinning around in alarm. Hara asks what's wrong, completely confused, while Fuyuki's expression shifts from playful to panicked in an instant. Fuyuki calls out to Hara, telling her to look over here, and Hara turns to see her wife posing dramatically by the glowing tanks. She can't help but laugh. Fuyuki looks like a little kid. Fuyuki pouts at first, but then they end up walking through the illuminated exhibits together, surrounded by families, looking like any other couple out for the evening. Fuyuki clings to Hara and says she had so much fun today, her voice warm and satisfied. Hara strokes her hair gently, and for a moment, the whole world narrows down to just the two of them. Then Fuyuki cheerfully offers herself as a pillow for the ride home, and Hara's composure shatters all over again. Hara pats Fuyuki's head and tells her she knows the truth. Fuyuki had been working overtime just to make this date happen. Fuyuki's confident facade cracks, and her eyes go soft and teary as she whispers a quiet thank you. It's one of those rare moments where the glamorous, untouchable team leader lets herself be completely vulnerable. On the train ride home, Fuyuki starts nodding off from exhaustion, the gentle rocking of the car pulling her under. Her head flops right onto Hara's chest, and Hara freezes as every passenger nearby suddenly has a front row seat to the scene. Fuyuki mumbles about being sleepy while Hara's face turns every shade of red. Hara apologizes, saying they should have driven instead, but Fuyuki tells her it's completely fine. In fact, the crowded train is perfect. They can be this close in public without anyone thinking twice about it. Fuyuki leans against her happily, calling the whole thing blessed, and Hara just sighs and accepts her fate. They're standing on the platform waiting for their train, and Hara says something that catches Fuyuki off guard. Sometimes it's nice to leave the house and take the train for a date. Fuyuki blinks, then smiles, and the train rattles into the station as the two of them stand together, looking genuinely content with their messy, secret, wonderful life. As they head out, Hara asks if Fuyuki is ready to go, and Fuyuki leans in with a soft, "yeah." In the background, we see a flashback of Hara running down someone who was bothering Fuyuki, and she reflects on how glad she is that she learned self-defense. For moments exactly like this, the two dash off together, inseparable as always. The door swings open at night, and Fuyuki bursts in with a cheerful announcement that she's home. Hara is waiting on the couch in the dark apartment, and for a moment there's a loaded silence between them. Hara manages a quiet welcome back, but there's something heavy behind her eyes, like she's been sitting there thinking about things she hasn't said yet. Fuyuki walks through the office looking absolutely flawless, and Hara catches a glimpse of her from across the room, blowing a kiss with her badge dangling from perfectly manicured fingers. Hara's face goes red and she buries it in her hands. A co-worker asks what's wrong, and Hara can barely choke out a response. "Nothing," she says, clearly dying inside. Hara notices the new co-worker watching them closely at the office. "The two of them seem to get along pretty well," someone comments. Hara's guard immediately goes up as she realizes this person could easily piece together their secret. She has to be more careful now, because if anyone at work connects the dots between her and Fuyuki, their whole arrangement falls apart. The project takes an unexpected turn when Fuyuki suggests changing the game's theme this late in development. Everyone thinks it's impossible, but Hara doesn't flinch. She asks what Fuyuki thinks she's dealing with, and with quiet confidence declares herself the company's godly writer. If Fuyuki wants a new direction, Hara will make it happen. Fuyuki excitedly asks what the next game is about, expecting another popular isekai title. But Hara has a different idea. She came up with a new theme that's far more interesting. It's about a secret office love affair. Fuyuki's expression shifts from curiosity to something much softer, and she murmurs a quiet acknowledgement. She sees what Hara did there. A coworker leans in close and drops the question Hara has been dreading. "Are you going to get married or what?" Hara panics and stammers that her partner is someone in a completely different profession from her. The coworker just stares back with a flat expression, clearly not buying it. Fuyuki watches the whole exchange from across the room with a knowing smile. Flashback time. It's been 2 years since Hara and Fuyuki last saw Akina, and they're reminiscing about when Gal Queen Quest was released. Akina used Fuyuki as visual reference for the main character, practically clinging to her and announcing she'd found a real gal. Hara notes it's been a while, and Akina's name carries serious weight in their world. A new character enters the scene in full color. Hokuhu Akina, writer for the script team, walks into the office looking like she owns the place. Dark hair, chain necklace, all attitude. Fuyuki greets her warmly, while Akina casually mentions she's here for a presentation. She and Fuyuki clearly go way back, and the energy between them is electric. Fuyuki pulls Hara aside in the hallway, asking what's wrong. Then, without warning, she plants a kiss right on Hara's lips. A full, deliberate one, not a cheek peck. She pulls back with a satisfied smile and calls it revenge for that morning's tease. Hara stands there stunned, badge still swinging, completely short-circuited in the middle of their workplace. Fuyuki spots Hara at the end of a corridor and calls out, pulling her around a corner and slamming the door shut behind them. "Nobody's here," she reassures a startled Hara. The urgency in Fuyuki's movements makes it clear. She's been waiting all day for a private moment, and she's not about to waste a single second of it.
Akina runs into Hara and immediately notices her employee badge. She works at the same company. The realization hits Akina hard as she mutters about it to herself, while Hara is oblivious to the significance. Akina excuses herself and walks off, but there's something brewing behind those glasses that spells trouble for our secret couple. The backstory of Akina's fame fills in. She's the writer behind Gal Queen Quest, a massive hit praised by everyone as genius work. Her name alone brings enormous attention to the company, and she's allowed to work from home, which is why nobody sees her around much. Hara introduces herself with her badge, and Akina's flat reaction says she already knows more than she's letting on. The flashback continues to when Hara and Akina first met. They both realized they work at the same company, and Akina introduced herself by reaching for something in her bag and presenting her card. She's from the script team. Hokuhu Akina, writer. The casualness of their first meeting hides the fact that Akina would become one of the most important people in their professional lives. Akina takes off her glasses and looks at Hara with an expression that stops everything. She tells Hara that when something bad happened to her once, people around just pretended not to see. But Hara was the only one who stood up. She calls Hara pretty cool, and the sincerity in her voice is completely disarming. Hara can barely stammer out a thank you. The trouble Akina mentioned was a street harassment situation. She was smoking before work when some guy started bothering her. Hara happened to walk by, and the guy suddenly remarked that Akina had a partner, backing off. Akina brushes it off, saying she didn't do anything special, but the way she corrects herself tells a different story entirely. Fuyuki appears out of nowhere and inserts herself between Akina and the creep. She points at Hara and declares without hesitation, "That's her husband." Akina stares. The guy in the hat backs off in shock, and Hara looks like she wants the ground to swallow her whole. Fuyuki's protective instinct just blew their cover in front of someone who definitely remembers faces. Hara tries to make sense of the guy who was just bothering Akina, squinting at him and wondering where she's seen him before. Meanwhile, Akina casually announces she wants to eat fish now, the crisis apparently forgotten. The two of them walk off together, and Hara watches from behind, something clicking in her head that she can't quite put into words yet. The situation outside a convenience store gets dangerous fast. Some guy grabs Akina's arm and tells her they should hang out, claiming they're both single. Akina coolly tells him to hit on someone else because she doesn't have time for this. But when he won't let go and gets aggressive, she curses at him to release her, and a hand reaches in from off-screen. Akina is drinking alone on the street, beer in one hand and cigarette in the other, sighing about how she still wants to have more fun. There's a weariness to her that wasn't there before. The confident writer from the office looks lonely out here in the dark. Whatever happened with that guy clearly shook her more than she's willing to admit. Fuyuki is sitting at home, worn out, her heart pounding as she processes something she just saw or heard. She murmurs that it's unfair, her expression conflicted and emotional in a way we haven't seen before. Outside, another guy is approaching Akina at a convenience store, and Hara spots the whole thing unfolding. Whatever's about to happen is going to change everything. Hara leans in and sniffs Fuyuki, murmuring that she looks so cute. Fuyuki panics. "Wait, do I stink?" She bolts off saying she'll take a bath first, apologizing frantically, while Hara sits there watching her go. Fuyuki asks from across the room if she really smells bad, and Hara just says, "Not really, but the damage is done. She'll have to wait again." Then Hara closes the distance.
She leans in slowly, and this time there's no cheek redirect, no hesitation, no pulling away. The kiss lands on Fuyuki's lips, soft and deliberate, and Fuyuki's eyes go wide with surprise before melting into it completely. She whispers Takun's name, and Hara says it quietly but firmly. It has to be on the mouth. Fuyuki clings to Hara on the couch, completely wrapped around her like she'll disappear if she lets go. She asks if they can continue from earlier, her voice soft and wanting. Hara looks down at her wife draped across her lap, takes in the whole scene, the messy hair, the tired eyes, the absolute need for closeness, and answers with a simple, quiet, yeah. Fuyuki tells Hara she must be tired and offers her a seat, and Hara plops down gratefully. But now comes the hard part. How does Hara break the ice for what she actually wants to say? Memories of all their lovey-dovey moments flash through her mind. The cheek kisses, the revenge kisses, the mornings where neither could hold back, because tonight they will. And that's where we leave these two, surrounded by everything they've built together in secret.